Only 3% of people choose their response to be in a positive gratitude. 97% of people, by design, are reacting to life. They're reacting to the weather, snowmageddon. They're reacting to someone cutting them off in traffic and choosing an ugly response. And I'm not saying I'm happy and go lucky all the time. I have grumpy moments, but I don't allow the grumpy moment to turn into a grumpy day, a grumpy week, a grumpy month. Oh my God, this year sucked. A couple of bad days don't make for a bad year.
Welcome to the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. Your guide on this journey is Amy Sylvis, ready to unlock the keys to a life of true abundance. We're diving into everything from financial freedom and optimal health to meaningful relationships, geographic freedom, and everything in between. It's about creating a life rich in experiences, purpose, and joy. Get ready for empowering conversations, expert insights, and real-life stories that inspire you to live abundantly. If you're ready for the secrets to an abundant life, hit that subscribe button now, and let's get started.
Secrets to Abundant Living podcast community. I'm delighted to welcome you to another episode. I have a really special guest. Candidly, I'm a little bit starstruck. I'm going to be honest. I should have said this before, but just being transparent with you all, I've got Kim Angeli with us today. And gosh, we've got so many great things to talk about. Kim, I'm really excited to have you here today. Thanks for joining us.
I'm excited to be with you. Starstruck. I follow you, stalking on LinkedIn and all the places. So that should be in reverse, girl.
Oh, you're so funny. We first met through Bob Berg. You do a lot of things with our dear friend. I know you know him better than me, but reading the Go Giver book and, shockingly, the community that he has, the people that he has in his circle, including you, are amazing people as well. So I'm just so grateful we've been able to develop this relationship and then, have you on to talk more goodness about what you're doing and what you're all about.
Yes, and we love Bob. We give him a
Yes.
shout out. We love Bob Berg.
Absolutely.
And I'm just
Absolutely.
grateful to work with him every day. I just get smarter and wiser having access to him. So I'm super grateful.
I can't imagine. Well, tell us a bit more about yourself for folks who maybe don't know who you are, what you're all about. Let us know.
Well, I'm a good old Southern girl who's a wannabe Yankee. So I grew up in North Carolina, but I make quick decisions and I don't sugarcoat anything and I don't really love drama. So I like to get things done. And I've been an entrepreneur for 24 years. And I grew up with entrepreneurs and I owned an insurance agency I sold a decade ago to, come and inspire grateful living, which I was told I was crazy, but I've been a disruptor for a very long time. My mother told me I was a disruptor when I was a child, when I was trying to form a business at 12 years old. So there's no news to her when she was with us that I'm out here disrupting mindsets with critical thinking. And I'm just really want people to understand how powerful gratitude is when you choose grateful living, right? When we choose it as a lifestyle, like right now in where I live in Charlotte in the South, we somewhat have a snowmageddon coming. And I just did a little post on Facebook that said, don't forget to be grateful and nice today when you're in the grocery store because people will literally choose grumpy. And I mean, it's me going into the grocery store later today, which I will,
Yes.
with a different positioning of choosing, I'm going to come through here. I don't care if it is chaos. I'm going to walk into the chaos with my grateful cape on, and I'm going to journey through it. My goal is not to be triggered by someone choosing grumpy or choosing anger or choosing, whatever they're going to choose. And that's really my mission. Why did I sell a lucrative insurance agency? Was because I was called into helping people choose grateful living and helping them have tools for that in their business and life. That's really me.
So impressive. I love that. I'm a Southern girl. I want to be Yankee, but I love your entrepreneurial spirit. We need more women, specifically, in that space. And, this mindset shift that it feels like our world could be so much better if all of us had that grateful, gratitude cape that you said. If we wear that everywhere we go. Can you imagine what the world would be like? How much we'd improve ourselves, the world around us? My goodness.
Girl, I dream of that because if you didn't know, only 3% of people choose their response to be in a positive gratitude. Only 3%. 97% of people by design are reacting to life. They're reacting to the weather, snowmageddon. They're reacting to someone cutting them off in traffic and choosing an ugly response. And I'm not saying I'm happy and go lucky all the time. I have grumpy moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't allow the grumpy moment to turn into a grumpy day, a grumpy week, a grumpy month. Oh my God, this year sucked. A couple of bad days don't make for a bad year.
Yes.
But when
Yes.
your default is choosing what's going wrong. So the opposite of gratitude is choosing what's going wrong.
Mm.
And what I'm encouraging people to do is to say, well, let's say your day was yucky, but still had to be at least a couple of things or one thing. How did I get started? What was the one thing? One thing a day on a Post-it note at night was how I started my gratitude journal. When life was yucky, when my life sucked, I was like, there's got to be something else other than this. And so I started writing one note a night before I went to bed on what went well. Thank you. I am happy and grateful for fill in the blank. And what I saw was my mindset started shifting. I was rewiring my brain, which is why the journal is 15 years of my work in a little 30-day journal. Is we start rewiring and then we see life differently. We're actually seeing it from a different lens. And gratitude is the attractor of abundance.
Mhm.
Complaints are poverty. Gratitude is abundance. Actually, you'll love this statistic because, for the woo-woo people, gratitude's woo-woo. Okay. Okay, you little scientific, nerdy people. I'm scientific as well. Well, so poverty starts at 600 conscious level and under. And those are the anger and the scarcity mindset.
Mhm.
And gratitude is 900 megahertz. And so when you start practicing gratitude as a lifestyle and you're choosing to go in that grocery store today, or you're choosing to drive in traffic and not be triggered,
Yep.
you're actually keeping yourself at an abundant prosperity vibration where you're going to see opportunities that if you were in the lower levels, you'd be like, I don't see them. I don't hear them. You don't even see the opportunity because you're at a low conscious level.
There's so much goodness here, Kim. I've got goosebumps, or some people call them God bumps.
Yeah, me
Hearing
too.
you say this, there's a lot to unpack. But the first thing I want to emphasize that you've said repeatedly, I want to make sure our audience heard this, is the fact that you use the word choice. And this idea that life isn't just happening to us. There's so much control we have, and it starts with our mindset, with what we choose to focus on. And you may have statistics around this. I'm afraid to quote this because I don't know it exactly, but our brain takes in all sorts of information, right? Unconsciously.
Yes.
And what we consciously pay attention to, it's only a tiny fraction, right? Of what goes on.
Just a
around us.
tiny fraction.
Right. So what are we priming our brain to take in and to pay attention to? Is it scarcity? Is it frustration? Is it lack? Or is it gratitude and abundance?
Right. Well, what we appreciates. I know you've heard that before.
Ooh.
I know you invest in yourself and you invest in your mindset and you surround yourself with thinkers and doers. Is what we appreciates, and what we focus on expands.
Right.
And like Bob Berg, our friend, will say, money is the echo of value.
The big one.
Shout out to you, Bobby.
Yeah, I know. We love Bob. He's
Yeah.
been on this podcast, and one of our most popular episodes. It's just so much goodness.
Yeah.
And I love
Yeah.
that you're echoing that. And, I love that you bring up money, because I think, I am an entrepreneur. You mentioned that you're an entrepreneur. Lots of folks that are listening to this are entrepreneurs. And if you're anything like me, when you wanted to get going, maybe you were thinking of strategies and tactics and tools and what can I do? But the truth is, if our mindset isn't in the right place, all of those activities and skills, And actions aren't going to really go in the direction that we want if we're not pointing our brain and our reticular activating system and all that good stuff in the right direction. So it may sound like woo-woo. It may sound like something like, oh, I'll just deal with that later. But my goodness, if you're not focusing on that and working on your mindset, you may be stuck and dead in the water, right?
Well, I work with clients, private clients, and I have a weekly group that I also coach for the clients. I can't coach everybody one-to-one, so I have a group coaching I do once a week. You and I could hand someone $1 million roadmap for their business. But if their state is lack, this is not going to happen. Because what happens is it might happen for a moment, but it's not sustainable. Right? They're going to do, I've seen clients do this, like, wee. And I'm like, you're not consistently grateful. You're not consistently appreciative. And you're in happy, sad. And it doesn't work. We have to work on, how do I choose? I'm choosing to go. So when I drive, I live in Charlotte, one of the largest cities in the country. And you live in a large city.
Yes.
And it might take me 15 minutes to make a left out of my neighborhood this afternoon. And I'm going to sit there in calmness and peaceness, and I'm going to wait for the traffic to pass. It'll eventually pass. Then I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to park way out by choice, not near the crazy people. I'm going to walk in with my, I'm going to meander. I'm not looking to be triggered by any. I'm choosing how I'm going to go get in my car and go to the grocery store and be not triggered. And so people, oh, Kim's life. So no, I've worked really hard to get here, because the reason why I chose to seek out gratitude was when I was running my insurance agency. I had a gentleman come in my office, and I was kind of a make it happen, do whatever it takes. These are the numbers. What's the ROI? What's my P&L? Like whatever it takes. Don't get in my way. And he called me Cruella in my office. And I was like, oh, you know how you're unconsciously unaware of a behavior and then become consciously aware of it. And you're like, what did he just say? Right. And so I was like, oh, and so I unpacked that and I started saying, oh, I'm really all about the ROI and the number at the expense of, because in 1999, if you'd gotten in front of me in between my $65 million quota in technology, you might have been a victim. I mean, I used to get in trouble in corporate America. My boss would call and say, Kim, you can't jump 2 levels of the protocol and tell an RVP in Virginia you're going to put him in a headlock. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I have a quota to meet. That was me. And a lot of people can't see that version of me. Now, that version of me lives somewhere in other people's mindsets.
Yeah.
But I've evolved beyond choosing reaction. I choose responding now, and I'm not going to be triggered. I can't even imagine myself now saying that. But that was me. I was very reactive.
Yeah, that makes sense. And speaking of being reactive versus proactive, so I've got my own gratitude journal. I know I've been using it since the start of the year. And
fun.
It's just great. I mean, it's spectacular. I just love it. This is my entry for today. So I'm not trying to have you all read all of it, but you mentioned how many years of experience and practice you poured into this. And it's so evident, Kim, because I've used other kind of journals and there's nothing wrong with others. But what I find so profound is not just this reflection of what we're grateful for. Incredibly important, very, very helpful. But you challenge us in this journal to not repeat the same gratitude that we've used before. So each day it becomes more and more challenging in a great way, because it just shows and pushes me to understand how much there is to be grateful for. I woke up with a roof over my head. How many people in human history can say that they woke up with a roof over their head? I'm not hungry. If anything, I'm probably overfed. How many humans in human history are able to say, right, their tummies are full? I didn't question whether I'd be able to have food today. There's plenty in my pantry. I mean, just day after day, there are so many things that I'm forced to pay attention to. And already in just a couple short weeks into this new year, I'm just realizing the power of this. I thought I knew it, but you're just bringing me on a journey that's really elevating it to a new level. I'm so grateful.
Well, I appreciate it. I will tell you, I have to give a shout out to my client, Ollie, who is some pretty much retired insurance, real estate. He loves to travel. And I just, I've said to people, just get out a notebook. I mean, I've said on the just get a notebook and write down, I am happy and grateful for it.
Yeah.
And the product I had before was just a blank piece of paper.
Mm.
And what was missing, what I was shown through a lot of work with my clients and having conversations with Ollie, is he's like, I need you to prompt me. And I said, well, I can't be with you every morning.
Yeah.
So, but then I was led to like create these sheets. And so I started using these sheets with my customers. And then I started doing a 5-day gratitude challenge with the sheets in 2024 in my Facebook group. And so the 5-day challenge would start having transformation. See, I think it's great. You could read a book about how to drive a car, but until you drive the car, there's really no action there. My goal is that you don't just buy the journal. I don't care how you actually start gratitude. I just want you to start.
Yes.
Because it is life-changing. It's one of the highest life skills. And so I said to Nora, my social media girl, who's a genius, I said, we need prompts. We need to prompt these people. And I am a child of, so I was born in 1971. I'm 54. I'll be 55 this year. And 5 is my number. So welcome to 55.
I love it.
And I grew up with listening to my parents' radio in the car, my father smoking in the car, no seatbelt, and doing Mad Libs. So if you've ever done a Mad Lib, raise your hand.
Yeah.
So I felt like, I could be there with them if I was prompting them to fill in the blank like a Mad Lib.
Oh, clever.
So that's where me doing those, because your childhood programming, it is what it is, 0 to 7, is I did a lot of Mad Libs in the car because I didn't have a phone. My parents didn't have a TV in the car. And we were driving to the coast every weekend. That was 2.5 hours of me coloring or filling out a Mad Lib. I mean, I would go into a general store and be like, Mad Libs. So I know and people say to me, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but I have a lot of men who I know have never journaled or picked up a journal that are using this on a daily or weekly basis because it is leading them into, how do we fill it out? This is the baby step Jumanji level, my gift to help people start.
And the extra added layer too that I haven't done before, that I've truly been meaning to do for years, is you prompt us to sit for 2 minutes and to ask God, source, university, whatever your personal belief is, where do you want me to go? And what steps should I take to move towards my purpose and alignment? And I'm going to be honest, some days I don't hear a thing, but some days I definitely do. And I love being okay with whatever I hear, right? Because my intention is to be aligned with my belief, which is what God wants me to do. And I just love, in addition to practicing gratitude, that neuroplasticity, forming those new connections in my brain, but also just making sure I'm starting my day off aligned with wisdom that is far beyond anything I can, create for myself. I need God's help. So I just think that that's so special.
Right.
You include that as well.
Well, that changed my life in 2023 after my mother died. I started sitting more in purpose and asking. And I told a client this morning, I said, it's our daily bread. We have to practice this every day.
Right.
And if we don't practice, we don't have discernment. And how I got into clear discernment is practice. And so I said, I was prompted to put it in there. And sometimes this is what I do. And I walk some people through this week. Sometimes when you're getting a discernment, you're tuning into the frequency of higher source, higher self, God, universe, whatever it is. And if you ever turned a radio station, of course, I know we have Spotify and all that now, but back in the day when you try to find it, it'd be like, and sometimes my frequency is not on the same as God and I don't hear it correctly. So what I'll do is I will think I hear something, but it's like, and I'll write in that block of 2 minutes, did I hear you correctly? Whatever it was, let's say it was like, I don't know, sponsor an event. Let's say, I've done this. Like last year, I'm challenged myself. I've been challenged by God to sponsor events, not host them. like use someone else's podcast, use someone else's event and be on there, like me being on he told me to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
So basically, I didn't hear some things clearly. So now I'll put it down and put question mark.
Oh,
So then the next day when I sit with it, I'm like, okay, that was a question. Now I want clarity.
yeah.
And after a couple of days, I will get the clear thing. And sometimes there are things on my bingo card I say, and I'm like, wait, I don't really. And he's like, oh, no, that's on your bingo card. Too bad. Suck it up, buttercup. And so
Truly.
basically, I'm using that time and space for clarity because I think sometimes we think we hear what we hear, but I'm not real sure. And so I'm like gonna because I'm gonna try to tune in a little better the next day. And that's where I use that space.
Have you ever thought about having multiple streams of income? Instead of relying on just one stream of income where you're trading your time for money, how would you like to free up more of your time and live a more abundant life? As a listener of the show, you're invited to attend one of our upcoming trainings where I'll give you an inside look into how you can add passive income and get all the other perks of recession-resistant real estate investing without the headaches of being a landlord. I'll also be sharing some hidden mistakes to avoid and the criteria I personally look for when evaluating potential investment opportunities. To reserve your seat for free, go to sylviscapital.com/webinar. Again, that special link to reserve your seat for free is sylviscapital.com/webinar. I look forward to seeing you on the training. And now back to the show. Wow. How special to be able to talk to the author of the journal that I use and get some personal coaching and insight.
Every day. I use my own
so
journal.
cool.
Oh, what a concept. I use my own journal.
I really appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense because there sometimes can be pressure of like, oh my gosh, I know I'm supposed to hear something. I know I'm supposed to
And if you don't,
understand
you
and
don't.
receive. Right, exactly.
Right.
That is so great. You mentioned, Kim, I want to go through this because it's tied. You mentioned you were called to do this from the insurance industry. Can you tell us a little bit more of what that was like? Because I would imagine some people feel that tug, or maybe they're waiting for it, or I think your story could just really be valuable to folks.
So how I found gratitude was through Jack Canfield. He is my mentor. I'm a trainer for him. And he indirectly, I bought a book in 2001 in the Fort Lauderdale airport called The Power of Focus.
Yep.
And I probably read it, but then I got laid off from Cisco Systems, making $250,000 a year, or whatever that was. And it was the worst day of my life in 2001 through part of the dot-com bust. But it was the best day of my life because I wouldn't be married anymore and I certainly wouldn't have a daughter. I'd be Cisco Systems and living in San Jose because if you give a workaholic work, mom will do work.
Yeah.
So I'm a recovering workaholic. And so in 2010, when we lost $100,000 in the insurance agency in one day from a client, March 15th of 2010. And then my dad got cirrhosis of the liver 30 days later, and I had to literally send him home. So when life is yucky, we seek out tools to change our life. We don't seek out tools when things are going well.
Right.
So I dusted off that Power of Focus book. And in the middle of that book is the Power of Gratitude. It is a tool, a foundational tool. So I started, writing the one note and putting it in the box and changed my life. And I'm doing my insurance agency, blah, blah, blah. And no calling. I mean, kind of like I'm doing my agency as 2010, 2011. And in 2013, I had a building burned to the ground in the middle of the night, and 45 students at NC State University did not perish. They survived.
Wow.
I spent the entire weekend at that property with the property manager and the Red Cross. And I flew in Zurich, large flames. So if you can imagine, there's a half burned down building in front of me, and there is a fire truck to the right, and the Zurich large loss to the left. I've been there all weekend.
Wow.
The 45 students didn't die. And the property manager who managed the property, and I wrote the insurance on the building, there is literally smoke blowing out of the back of his head. And he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, Kim, what do you think this is going to do to the renewal next year with this burned down building?" And I'm like, "What?" What?
Wow.
Like, we had just renewed it. This was April of 2013. We had just renewed the property for like $13,000.
Yeah.
And he's asking me about the renewal, which is 11 months away. Now I'm thinking 45 students didn't die. I just flew in Zurich, large claims. The fire department's still here. They just rescued a cat out of the condominium complex. So I literally was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
What's happened? What kind of conversation is this with the
Yeah.
manager? So I make sure everybody's good, and I get in my Forerunner and I drive to my office. And my mother said she has never seen me as convicted as I was on this day. And I walked in her office and I said, you know what? I'm getting out of this business and I'm going to go teach gratitude around the world because people are ungrateful. I'm done. And I don't know what happened. It was almost like if I could go back in that moment, I think I just rallied God and the universe to say, okay. So fast forward to 2015, I'm in Vegas and and I'm at a crossroads of, I'm being called like big time.
Yeah.
You need people around me. You need to teach grateful living. I'm like,
Right.
"Oh, I know what that looks like. I run a profitable insurance agency.
Yeah.
So I go to Vegas and I say, okay, God, if this person I'm meeting with says no, I'll come back and I'll sell the agency. And I wrote out this purpose right here that I keep on my desk. What my purpose was to influence and gratitude, to influence and create enthusiasm and teach gratitude and appreciation around the world. I wrote this in 2015. I came back. That guy said no. I came back. I drove to Raleigh. I lived in Charlotte at the time. And I said, I'm selling the company. Who wants to buy it? And so many people tried to talk me out of it. And December 31st of 2015, I sold the place and started my journey into gratitude a decade ago. And people were like, oh, it's not going to work out for you. What are you doing? I was like, I don't care. Because let me tell you that I had every obstacle, even my mother almost dying that Thanksgiving in November, to keep me from selling the agency.
Wow.
And I was at a crossroads on the last day of selling the agency that I was so done, I almost gave it away and said, I'll just give it, I'm done.
Wow.
And what's interesting, Amy, is the day that I sold the business, it was the same stoplight after I sold it that I found myself, same stoplight, same office park. The day that I got laid off from Cisco Systems, it was the same stoplight I went through to leave that parking lot and inspire grateful living. That was all by design. And so it has evolved. It doesn't look anything like it did when I started a decade ago, but the purpose has never changed. To get people to practice gratitude like they're brushing their teeth. That it's just not something they think, it's not a post-it note on their head to be grateful. It
Right.
is like it is what they embody. They're choosing grateful living.
It's just what they do. It's who they are.
It's who they are.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. It's clear you were so in tune, right? If you weren't, I
Oh,
don't want to
yeah.
put words in your mouth, but if you weren't so in tune and so mindful of the messages you were getting or the prompting that you were getting, you may have not gone in this direction that's been so incredible for you. Is that right?
Well, a lot of people, I don't have a lot of fear in my life.
Okay.
I'm a big risk taker.
Yeah.
And I have been for a long time. My father was not a fear person. He was a risk taker.
Yeah.
I had to step into fear and do it anyway.
Mm.
Because when you don't, and here's what I'll say, and I told somebody this the other day, I said, when you're building the ship as you float out of the harbor, that's what I was doing. I literally I stepped into faith and out of fear and just said, okay, God, what are we doing? And that's what I do every morning is I say, who do I need to serve? What are we doing today? And I might have stuff on my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
But even this morning, I had a conversation with a past client who's turned into a friend of mine who needed to hear what I had to say. And it wasn't what I was saying. I was just the instrument of the words to her.
Yep.
She was not on my calendar. And the time was just there. It didn't put me in a chaos and something else. I had the time open. And so that wasn't on my calendar, but I took and held space for her to encourage her to lean more into her divine alignment. And so I don't know everything that's always on my calendar, but if it shows up, I serve. Because sometimes it's not about me, it's about the other person. And if I need to go there and be in servitude and be of value to that person and there's nothing in it for me, I'm okay with that.
Mm. That's true abundance too.
Yes.
I would venture to say, right? Because our culture teaches us to make it all about us and our own goals and where we want to go. But goodness, if God didn't design us to be most happy when we're caring not just about ourselves, but others, right? It's amazing
Right.
how that works.
Right.
Designed a certain way, might be helpful to lean into that. I love this.
Well, and it's not, it's being unattached.
Mm.
The unattachment, the attachment keeps people stuck. They're so attached to the opinions of others. They're so attached to, oh, I've always done it this way. They're so attached to, what will people think of me? Well, it's like I told my mother on her deathbed, we got to spend a lot of time together, and she was in the insurance business. She sold life insurance. So
Yeah.
we talk about death like like not normal people. So we would be sitting in her hospital room. We'd be talking about life insurance or death or whatever. And I said, you know what, Mom? I said, you've lived 80 years of your life at the expense of other people's dreams.
Oh,
Said you always wanted to be a nurse or a doctor, which is why you find yourself in the hospital every 6 weeks, because you crave to be here. Your soul is craving to be here. And you did not live your life on your terms. You lived your life on what you thought other people thought you should do. Because you were good at selling insurance. You stayed in selling insurance. I'm good at selling insurance, but it's not what I was called to do. I was called to help my parents save their company from, whatever it was, save it from themselves when my dad got sick. He would have sold that company for pennies on the dollar
wow.
in the worst financial market of our life in 2010. I mean, he would have gotten nothing for it. So I was there to save it. It wasn't even logical. I was there. I came from technology. So I told my mom, I said, unfortunately, when you pass away, about 6 people, their daily life will be affected. Yet you've lived your life worried about the opinions of others, and only 6 people lives will be disrupted because you're not here anymore. I says, you know what? I'm not attached to the opinions of others. I'm a disruptor, and I do not lose sleep at night because I'm out touting gratitude and how to be more grateful, because I can't change people's mindsets worried about what they think about me. I can't.
It's none of our business.
It's none of my business.
Yeah.
And that's what Jack says.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I told her, so she said, go live out loud. Go tell them to live their dreams. And so I want people to know we were not put here to pay bills and die.
No,
We weren't.
truly. Such strong, strong words that all of us should live by. For people, aside from this gratitude journal, it sounds like you have a great community. You've got group coaching. I'm imagining there are some people listening to this that really resonate with what you're saying, but aren't sure how to get started, how to turn their life around. Maybe they're overly focused on what people think about them. Their whole lives are oriented, just as you mentioned, towards just making sure they're small and not bothering other people, not disrupting. Where can people get started? How can folks find out more about what you do, how you can help them? What does that look like?
Well, they're in luck.
Okay.
We have a 5-day gratitude challenge on my website, kimangeli.com. It's under challenge, or correct me if it's under challenge. You'll see it. They can download the 5 sheets. They can start their gratitude journey. They don't have to buy the journal. They can if they want. I also have Facebook challenges in my Facebook group. I have them. My goal is once a month.
Oh,
And what I do is go live in the Facebook group, and I just walk them through the sheets. But they could do the sheets on their own. They can download the 5 sheets in the journal, the first 5 sheets off the website, and just start filling them out. The abundance begins when you start practicing gratitude. Happiness begins, you're not like, oh, I'll be grateful when I'm happy. No, you're grateful and then you're happy. And so people are like, oh, but when? I'm like, no. Abundance starts when we start changing our state to gratitude and show what's going well. I tell people, I'm like, if you have $100 in your account, be grateful. Because if you're not grateful for the $100, you're not going to get 100,000.
I love that. That is so incredibly powerful. We have to be the type of people to receive, right? And part of that being,
Right.
before we have, is doing that work on ourselves to be grateful for even things that aren't here yet. Maybe being grateful in advance, being grateful for what we already have. That is just so powerful, Kim.
Well, because it multiplies. And we have to be the law of receptivity. We have to be in receivership.
Yes. Yes.
And that's one of the 5 laws of the go-giver that, of course, we teach. But your abundance comes from being grateful and appreciating more what we need to appreciate.
Yes. You can't fight the laws of the universe. They just are what they
it
are.
works like gravity, girl.
Right? Yeah. You can harness them, and right, or you can fight against, gravity, like you said, something as fundamental like that. So yeah, might as well use them to your advantage and create a great life for yourself, just like you have, Kim. This was so
Well,
special.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so
You're
much
amazing.
for joining us. Right back at you. Just thrilled for all of our folks to be able to learn from you, model themselves after you, and hopefully join your community and continue working on themselves through the great things that you teach.
Yeah, please connect with me everywhere online. You can Google me, YouTube, wherever. Kim Angeli, Angel with an I. Please connect. And, when I respond, it is me.
Oh, isn't that novel? I love that, right? You never
It's
unless
me. It's not a bot. It's
Yeah.
not somebody else. It's
Right?
not my assistant, Nora. It's me.
That's fantastic. We're going to put all those links in the chat. I know a lot of our folks are driving and doing other things, so we're going to make sure that they can get in touch with you. Kim, thank you again so much. Stay safe with Snowmageddon. And
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you for having me.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right, everyone. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks for joining us today. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will empower you on your journey towards abundance. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us, and it helps others discover the secrets to an abundant life too. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn, Amy Sylvis. Keep striving for your goals, nurturing your relationships, and embracing the adventure that is life. Until next time, we wish you an abundantly fulfilling day.